Welcome back to my next video on Vedic astrology. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the effect of the sun if it happens to be in your 8th house. For this purpose, I'm going to use only the Bhava chart. Does this mean that you can do away with the Rashi chart? Rashi chart is the most important chart in your horoscope, and the Rashi chart will let you know if the sun is exalted or debilitated or in its own sign like in Leo or Simha. Where is it? All this is to be known only from the Rashi chart. Only for the counting purpose, we use the Bhava chart. In case you do not know your Bhava chart, you may download Jagannatha Hora, install it, and feed in your date, time and place of birth, and within a matter of few seconds, you should be able to see your Bhava chart. So have your Rashi chart and the Bhava chart side by side, always.
There are 12 ways the sun could be in the 8th house in any horoscope. This is one such example. In this case, the ascendant is on Gemini, Mithuna Lagna, and this becomes the first house. Then you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And this is the 8th house position of the sun. For all this, you'll have to refer to the Bhava chart. And in some cases, you will find the sun is in the 8th Rashi and also in the 8th Bhava, in which case the effect of the sun in the 8th will be fully expressed in that person's life. If suppose you have the ascendant here and then the sun might be here, in which case it is the case of the sun being in the 8th Bhava. Let's move on to what Sage Bhrigu in Bhrigu Sutram says about the sun if it happens to be in your 8th Bhava or 8th house. The first word that Sage Bhrigu says about the sun being in the 8th house is Alpa Putraha. The native will beget few children. Netra Rogi. He will suffer from eye diseases. Let's pause here a while and understand on what basis Sage Bhrigu must have said this. The second house is the house of family or the expansion of family, Kudumbasthana. And when the sun is in the 8th house, he looks at the second house directly, which is called full aspect. And that may be the reason why Sage Bhrigu says this. And 2, he will suffer from eye diseases. This is possible because again the sun is looking at the second house of the eyes, or what is known as Netrasthana, the house of the vision. And the sun is also the direct planet for vision because it is related to the light, because without light there is no vision. Dashame Varshe Shirorani. In the 10th year you will suffer from a head injury, but you will not get this if the sun is aspected by a benefic or related to a benefic. Shubha Yute Drishte Tat Pariharaha. All of a sudden, Sage Bhrigu says that in a particular year an event will happen without referring to any dasha period. Vimshotri dasha, for example, nothing has been said about that, but straight away, unconditionally, he says the 10th year this can happen. But in my experience, I always noticed that if in the 10th year the child is also going through a very bad dasha or a bad bhukti, a main period or a sub period of a planet already indicating injury, then this happens for sure. Otherwise, it could be a very minor injury and there's nothing to be worried about. The native will have meager wealth, alpa dhanavan. And then go mahishyadi nashaha. Cattle, cow, buffaloes belonging to the native will get destroyed. He will suffer from chronic ailments of the body, dehe rogaha. That means the body is always in some kind of health problems. At the same time, he says he will be famous. Khyatiman. It also means he will be great. If the lord of the 8th house is associated with strong planets, the native will become owner of the land of his choice. Bhavadipe, Balayute, Ishta Kshetravan. So here he says that under some condition, this person could have a lot of wealth. Swache, Swakshetre, Dirghayuha. If the sun is exalted, this can happen if the sun is in Aries or Mesh Rasi or in his own sign, the native will be long lived. Let's do an example. If for the sun has to be here, this is the first condition, exalted, and then the ascendant must be here to fulfill this condition of the sun also being in the 8th house. So if that is the situation, then he says this person would be long lived. And if the sun is in its own sign, as in Leo, so the ascendant must be in Makara Lagna. So if the sun is in the 8th house and also in the sign of Simha, then it will be long lived. So this is another way of telling us that if the sun is in the 8th house, there is some kind of threat to long life. And it will not happen only if the sun is exalted or in its own sign. Brihat Jataka, a classical textbook by Sri Varahamira, says almost the same things. The native will have limited number of issues and will have defective eyesight. Phaladeepika, another classical textbook, says there will be loss of wealth, loss of longevity, loss of friends, poor eyesight. Saravali, the native will suffer from eye troubles, will be devoid of happiness and wealth, will be short-lived and unhappy because of separation from near and dear ones. Here also I think that the 2nd house is being referred by simply because the sun is aspecting the 2nd house from the 8th house. Chamatkar Chintamani, the native will always be ready to do any work entrusted to him. He will always be in difficulty. He will have close relationship with foreign women. He will be a drug addict. His money will be stolen by thieves. He will suffer from diseases of the secret organs. Many new factors have been discussed in Chamatkar Chintamani, but at least the majority of the view says that there could be eye trouble, there could be loss of wealth under certain conditions, and we find that something has been said about the family. Before concluding, I'd like to tell you that you can help the astrology community by typing out your comments. If you have a good collection of horoscopes with the sun in the 8th house, so what happened? Please type them out. And if it hasn't happened, then I'd like to tell you that you'll have to look deeper because of the influence of other planets that contradicted the results of the sun being in the 8th house. So whatever it is, document your experience by typing out in the comment section, and the whole world can see it.